And we are live on the Icecast Live. My name is Shane Chebsey, and with me tonight, making a very rare appearance, is Mr. Chris Ball. To my right, good evening, Chris.
Hello.
Hello. And below me, as always, Mr. Olly MacNamee. How you doing, Olly?
I'm all right, thank you, Shane. How are you?
Oh, as I said earlier, I am in a bit of pain tonight. I had a little tiny procedure on my back earlier in the week, and sitting is extremely painful. So I'm not going to be with you for the whole broadcast, I don't think.
Well, we'll gain more viewers that way if you're not with us.
That's what I said before, wasn't it, in the post? So you guys will probably get a lot more viewers than I
almost double figures.
Yes. So, but tonight we're going to be talking about Thought Bubble, aren't we? That you both visited.
The Fallout Thought Bubble.
Fallout of Thought Bubble. I like it, yeah. And at some point we may be visited by Sam the Imaginary Man as well. Yeah. If he can get his internet working. We'll see how we get on with that.
Or his kids in bed. It's always one or the other, isn't it?
It's something. Well, they're throwing up. And that was just the one time. But so I'll go to you first, Chris. How was your weekend at Thought Bubble? Did you have a good time? I believe you just went for the one day. Was that right?
Yeah, just made it down for the Saturday. Yeah, drove down with a mate. Early start to get there. Massive queue outside. I don't know if you saw that, Ollie.
I just walked straight through.
I thought so. Yeah, straight in. It was a very, very long queue in the morning.
I know that's a good thing.
As soon as they opened the doors, they got through them pretty quick, and we got in there fairly quick. So yeah, just down there for the Saturday.
Yeah, and I've not been to the new venue in Harrogate, the conference centre. I'm assuming it's purpose-built building. Is there more than one hall?
Yes, 3 halls with rooms upstairs for talks and whatnot. Right. Brilliant. We're basically in the heart of Harrogate. You know what I mean? Little small windy streets to try and find the car park. But that's part of the joy of the town. It's a really nice looking town, and
it's a nice town, isn't it?
A customer of mine told me it's got the best Weatherspoons. It's got the biggest Weatherspoons. But
that's brilliant. But even the Weatherspoons are posh in Harrogate.
Yeah. But now the venue was literally, perfect. Ollie, I'm sure, back me up. Great, lots of room. Yeah. First room and then 2 rooms beyond.
Right, and they're both big rooms, I presume.
Oh, yeah, 3 of them are, yeah.
Yeah. 3 big rooms. That's fantastic. So it must be doing really well then to, hire out 3 big rooms of a conference centre, because that's not going to be cheap, especially not in Harrogate. And how was it organised? Was it segregated? Did you have like a comics area, a small press area, a merchandise area, or was everybody all mixed up, or was it all just small press?
It was a good mix, wasn't it, Ollie?
I thought. Yeah. I mean, what they've done in the past, obviously this is only the second one, so they were aware of where to put the professional artists who were signing, the ones who get the big queues like James Tiny Onion Tinian.
Tiny Onion. I like
and
Tiny
Onion. He had queues. He had queues literally out the door at 10 in the morning, Saturday and Sunday. But like Chris said, you had a lot of mix of professionals. I think that was made easier because a lot of professionals had to drop out for different reasons, both ones we knew about, as well as last minute dropouts. So there was a bit more space for some of the creators, I think. But that's a great thing about Thought Bubble. It tries to treat people as equal as possible in terms of tabling.
Yeah, that's always been a good thing, hasn't it, about the show? So I am going to skedaddle off, guys, but I'm going to play the intro, and then when we come back, it'll be you guys, and you can just tell the viewers what you've done. Just chat the shit. And if you've got artwork and stuff like that, we'd love to see that as well, I'm sure. So yeah, that'll be really good. So I'm sorry I can't stick around. I am in a tremendous amount of pain at the moment. It's all I can do not to cry, to be honest. So
we're not that bad. Oh, Chris, you do one bloody show and you've got Shane in tears. Don't invite him back on.
I'm going to leave it all in your capable hands.
Olly.
Well, Chris, I suppose we should start with initial first impressions and lasting impressions. I don't know if you'd been to the one previously in 2019.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't manage to go. It's a little too far for me.
Yeah.
So, I don't drive, and so this time around, my friend was tempted to go, so we drove down for us. So yeah. First impressions, well organised, fantastic area to have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Right venue, good guest list, even with the dropouts.
You're right.
I will always moan if I don't find long comic boxes full of comics. And there was.
Let's get the moaning out of the way first, then.
Yeah, literally one of the only things negative towards it was as somebody who's looking for your back your shoes, your comics. There weren't much in the way of retailers selling bits and bobs. There was only 3 short comic boxes with comics. I still managed to buy some, obviously, but yeah. Other than that, great, fantastic, and again, good guests, great guests. Ones I've met before, new guests. So you get to have a good chat with David Mack, who I've met before. Just a really, really solid, nice guy. People, Rachel, Stott, Al Ewing. You can just spend a lot of time, having a good old chinwag with them. Charlie, Mike Perkins, Charlie Adlard. How about you?
Well, similar to you, really. I found the fact that it was easy to talk to people. Other than James, there weren't queues around people's tables. You weren't hanging around for too long. The big surprise for me was how many of the creators are actually giving away free autographs in a world where more and more creators are aware of the value of their autograph and what some fans do once they've got the autograph on their comics book and flip them onto eBay. I found it very refreshing that a lot of the creators were willing to give us fans the chance to get our comic book signed. Like Gillian March, for instance, who I absolutely adore. He was doing it very cleverly between 1 and 2, or was it 12 and 2? 1 or 2 hours each day on the Saturday, Sunday, he was giving away free autographs on as many books as you get signed. I only brought a few with me because nowadays I bring comic books to get signed more as a memory rather than anything else. To be fair, I think a lot of fans are, they're on a hiding to nothing if they think their comic's going to be worth that much more when hundreds of other people got the same signature on the same Batman book, the same Catwoman #1, etc., etc. So I was just glad to see that, and where certain artists were having to sign because of maybe the companies they were represented by, they were often giving away the first 5 signatures for free, which I found very pleasing after. And I think I'll be returning to this theme over and over again. The fact that during COVID, a lot of people there would have been hit in the wallet. And so whether that was a result of artists realizing everyone had been hit or not, I don't know. But I was very, very pleased. It's a great show anyway. And there was a real, not carnival, that's the wrong word, but there was a real elated feeling about it all, both from the professionals and from the fans who'd made it up there.
I was just about to say that was one thing. Obviously, seeing a lot of familiar faces of the con buddies. Hey, it's everybody. I think a lot of people there felt relaxed and felt, like, oh, we're finally back at the con. You know what I mean? We finally get to get stuff signed and buy some prints or some artwork. You know what I mean? A lot of relief, and it wasn't super busy, like you said. So you managed to actually have a chat with the creators, get stuff signed. I think there's only James Tinian and is it Jolia Jones who had restrictions on their issues. But then I was talking to Iban Cielo, artist on Dark Ages at the moment, and yet I think he was like, I usually charge for signatures, but once he could see how many, I showed him my app with all my issues on. I went, that's how many I've got signed, dude. And he's gone like, oh, I'll put your name on them. I'll sign as many as you want. And I was like, sounds a fair, man, because they ain't going anywhere. You know what I mean? They're going back in the long comic boxes where they're giving it, though.
I think you're right. If I always try, I mean, not this time round, I don't know why, but I always try and make sure I say make it out to Olly. But I'm so sick of having to spell Olly, which you think would be quite easy, O-L-L-Y, that I just let them sign it. And because Gillan March couldn't understand my accent and the speed I was talking at, I think what I ended up doing is just sign these 3 or 4 comics, please. Like I said, just a memory. But yeah, James, I felt he could have been a bit more generous on I think his first 3 were free, and then he was charging after that. And that's why I only brought a few comics. I didn't get my Department of Truth signs in the end because the queues were too big. And I don't do queues anymore. No way. It was too busy. And I was there for 2 days. So I can imagine how tight your schedule was getting there just for the Saturday.
Well, we were, obviously, like any con, you look at the big names and you think, well, let's go there first. And, you know what I mean? Because let's see what the queue is like. Spend, the time in the main queue if you're really desperate for it. But Johnston queue wasn't, it wasn't huge. It wasn't, as big as queues I've been in before. At London and stuff like that. It was big. Don't get me wrong. But and I think it was because he was off to either a panel or the signing table. So
he did a lot of panels that weekend. A lot.
He ended up rushing through, as many as he could to get people through.
Yeah.
But good stuff. And like you say, getting to meet it's David Mack, and you're in a queue of 4.
Yeah. And that
mean?
seems to be quite the general rule with any of the big name artists who'd still managed to make it over here or even from elsewhere in Britain. I mean, every time I walked past Al Ewing, there were 2 or 3 people in front of his table. Every time I walked past some other names, like Martin Simmons was a great big artist nowadays. He was sitting next to James. Again, very, very approachable person. I've got to know Martin over the years doing Comic Cons anyway. Super approachable person. And able to sort of not just, like you say, not just get the comic signed, but actually have a bit of a chat and not feel like you're hanging around and there's people behind you. So it was an all in all great experience. And I want to say this for Chloe Green and her team, because she got a lot of shit over the Frank Miller cancellation, like it was her point. And I don't want to go into the ins and outs of that, but I think her and her team certainly deserve all the applause they're going to get for putting on, one of the first proper Comic Cons after COVID in a weekend when there were other cons going on. And also everyone who needed to wear masks were wearing masks. Very few people with masks on. And I assumed, because, we do follow what we're told, us comic geeks really, do actually sort of follow the rules. And so I was really impressed that the mask rule was kept by one and all.
Yeah. I agree, Matthew, as you comment there. The queue moved fast. He was lovely. Yeah, he was a nice guy to chat to.
I wish I
one thing, talking about masks.
We both need to wear one now.
One thing you ended up seeing was a lot of this. I don't know if you know what I'm on about.
Oh, no. Go on. What? So wafting people away if they weren't wearing masks or something?
No. The point being is the artists and writers are signing comics. And usually you get your comic signed to dry it.
Oh, yeah.
You can blow on it. So there's me and a bunch of other people. We're like trying to get it dry so you can put it back in the dry
That's
already.
The new normal of geeks.
You end up getting back and you've got like comics, you know what I mean? The signatures all over the place. Because it couldn't dry already. You know, dripping your mask up.
I made the mistake a couple of years ago at Portsmouth Comic Con, the first one, and I'd managed to dig out Action Comics 1000, but with that slippery bloody plastic cover, by the time I got one artist to sign it, it just never dried ever. And what I was surprised at is Gillian March was the only person using Posca pens, which are paint pens and perfect for that kind of sort of cover, really. So that's funny. That's part of the new norm, I suppose.
Just waving comics around. Dry already. Hi, Lucy. Unfortunately, I don't think me or Ollie have access to the photos that we can put up on screen. We went for
but
Sam to make an appearance.
When Sam
No,
picks up his daughter from netball, we
I'm
can
sure he'll be
pretend
in
we're
at some
finishing
point.
then, can't we?
Did you manage to ever chat to any creators for a while?
Oh well, this is where sort of I got very, very lucky. I met up with a couple of friends Friday. Now, 2 years ago, as you do in a new place, you just sit in the first bar you come across. And I found this bar, Cold Bath Brewery, who were doing the Wicked and Divine Ales last year, 2 years ago. And I had a wonderful time there and ended up talking to the owners on the Saturday night before heading over into the party. And they've got two bars. They've got Cold Bath Brewery and next to it, Cold Bath Club, which does wicked, wicked burritos. So we were sitting in there Friday night, just chatting away. I saw a number of people going upstairs, just assuming they look quite local, leather trousers, fancy jumpers. 10 minutes later, 20 minutes later, Ram V goes upstairs with Casper Wingard. And I think, hold on a minute, what's going on upstairs? Then another couple of creators who will remain nameless for now, they came over to chat to me. An hour later, I found myself upstairs at the Comixology party where they had a free bar, and they couldn't get rid of the drinks fast enough when I was there. It was absolutely amazing. So I was able to bump into people I know well enough to have a conversation with. Put me in a room 5 minutes with anyone, I've got a conversation. And it was a bigger night than I'd expected. So head off back to the Majestic, where last time round there was a huge party, but of course with COVID, all of that was restricted. Funnily enough, at the Majestic, the bar was shut. So I went home about about 1 o'clock, thoroughly happy that the night I'd envisioned had got on even better than I'd ever expected. Because when you're traveling up there on your own, I knew I was going to meet one or two people, but I didn't expect to meet the amount of people I did. And I didn't get too hammered. So I was able to carry on the conversation relatively well. So yeah, that was a great first night. Second night was equally great. A lot quieter. Again, caught up with some friends, went for something to eat after starting off at the Majestic and talking to a couple of people. And yeah, it was, like I say, it was a great party atmosphere because everyone wanted to just catch up with people and just party, really.
I think that's, again, being part of a convention, helping out. And, you know, if you go to a convention over a weekend, being able to relax, take your time at the con, but more importantly, to be able to go to a pub somewhere, just have a good chat with friends, and sometimes meet creators and get to know them. There's something just great, you know what I mean? Being able to question, you know, beat Simon Furman, Lou Stringer, you know what I mean? Just, you know, get these creators and go, hey, what about this? What about that? Hey, remember that? And, you know what I mean? Get to know them. And it's something, as they always say, bark on, isn't it? It
really is. And you know what? Magic. By the second evening, because the stories I was being regaled with were so great, even I kept my gob shut and just listened in on these magnificent stories. Nothing tantalizing, nothing, you know, awful, but just great stories of artists who'd lived in America for the past 20 years who I was with on Saturday night. And then sort of another friend of mine who's currently touring in a band, a Crown Britain, Cud. So it was Will Potter, who's in Cud, and I'd seen him a couple of weeks ago in Birmingham. And then Mike Perkins, who, as you know, has only just moved back to Britain from 20 plus years in America. So it was a very, very special evening for me Saturday night, where we took ourselves away from the main thrust of things, and just the three of us sat down and really had a really, really good chat. And in those situations, I'm sure you've been in them as well, Chris, you talk about everything.
Oh, yeah.
And comics, but it's not just comics. Yeah.
Well, again, now that's
memories already.
Again, that's the joy of conventions. And me and you have got our foot slightly in the door more than the normal punter.
Yeah.
Is that we know people that be able to tell, get us in with the creators and stuff, and being able to just chat about life. You know what I mean? I've spent an evening with Rodney Ramos, just chatting away, and it's like, how is that ever gonna happen? You know what I mean? In life. Matthew there gives a shout out to the 77 table.
Yeah.
Nice one, Matthew. Yeah,
For anyone who
doing
doesn't know the 77, I'm sure a lot of people do. It is very much in the vein of the anthology 2000 AD. It's got that same feel about it. I mean, the title gives it away, doesn't it? But yeah, it's a shame that 2000 AD weren't there. But, these things have to happen some years. I'm sure after everyone's heard what a great year it was, how safe it was, maybe people who are put off for whatever reasons this time round may very well be there next year as well.
Lucy there. Get to a con, buy a few random 1970s special metallic covers, go find a bar, find your friends, talk all weekend, con tradition. Yeah, tradition rather. Now, spot on, Lucy. Yeah, bang on.
And Lucy knows from having been experiencing and working with con. I mean, that's where I met you and Lucy the first time with the Ice Con, wasn't it?
Yeah. Matthew says Ram V was funny selling his copies of Swamp Thing a month before release. Whoops.
I wish I'd been there to get it.
Yeah, I know. I wish I'd have known.
I passed his table often enough. I'll tell you what was the big story, and I'm surprised myself and Rich Johnston on Bleeding Cool didn't do it. We covered sort of like Paul Goodenough's Extinction comic book so much, we forgot to actually say that by Saturday, you're one of the lucky ones, it had sold out. It had sold all of his, all the comics he brought with him. And he was the first panel of the day. And the first panel of the day can usually be like the support act for the big band of the week. And sold out. He was so enthusiastic about the cause. Anyway, and it was great to have our copy, because I don't know if you did the same thing. On the Sunday, I just ran and said, can I have the autograph? Can I have the autograph? Can I have the autograph? That meant more to me than maybe getting 20 or 30 comics signed, where you just get all of these signatures in the one book. And every time you take that book off the shelf, you're looking at it going, oh, I remember that person. I remember talking to that person. Or maybe just getting a signature as I was flying out the door on the Sunday night.
I picked mine up just as I was leaving, as we was on the way out. Paul had almost run out. He was pretty much, you know what I mean?
Wow.
That was they had very few left. And as Shane had interviewed Paul, I literally, introduced her. All right, Paul, but do I know you? I was like, introduced myself and, explained that I don't usually like doing, the online stuff.
Listen, Paul hangs around with Leonardo DiCaprio these days. Why is he going to remember me and you?
Well, exactly. To which he wrote, Chris, get your face online. Screw that Shane guy. Paul Goodenough. It's signed. Bless him. But honestly, everybody needs to buy this.
Yeah,
book.
It does so
many
good.
I mean, just get it signed if you're that way inclined. But as I said, every one of these saves a square meter?
3 square meters. I think I remember from the
rainforest.
Yeah, people can read my article on comiccon.com if they want to.
Good plug.
But now you got to, haven't you? You got to. But yeah, it's and also I know that a lot of the money's also going into very specific species to help save them from extinction, and also buy back rainforest and cloud forest land to save it for the indigenous tribes. So that's how much of a sort of imprint that panel made on me. That was Saturday morning, and I'm remembering a lot of the facts. And also the other fact is, and I hope I've got this right if Paul's listening in, for every tree they cut down to make that book, they plant 3 more as well. So, I mean, there's action. There's something quantifiable, isn't it?
As really Paul said himself, the reason behind it was, seeing people talk about it. And Paul just went, enough talk. Something needs to get done. I need to do something.
Yeah.
As a comic fan alone, the names in this It's just amazing. It's incredible. Look at it. It's a fucking phone book of. There's so much work involved.
A phone
so
book
much
of
work.
all of the masters of comics at the moment. Not all of them. That would be rude for those people who didn't get involved or couldn't get involved.
No, you're right.
Me, it's a who's who, isn't it?
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's worth a cause.
Yeah,
what it's worth, what it's going for, what it means, and then the actual work that's inside is amazing. There's some real good stuff in here.
Well, here's how amazing it. I was told that Leonardo DiCaprio, before Paul had met him, was, or maybe it was after Paul met him, was planning to do a sketch, but he was shown Charlie Adlard's comic strip. He said, "There's no fucking way." I don't think he swore. I'm embellishing, but there's no way he's going to draw anything when he saw Charlie's artwork. Do you know what I mean? So that's quite a great little story, I must admit. But yeah, Paul was on all weekend. I mean, he's one of the hardest working people, not just in comics, but everywhere. He'd been to COP26 the week before. I think he was telling me he lives on 2 or 3 hours sleep a night. And that's not just wrangling comic book stars, but that's getting big stars of TV and movie involved and keeping them sort of paddocked in as well and on target. So it's a phenomenal feat already. And I know he's only going to go from strength to strength because this is just the start of it, isn't it?
Yes. Plus, genuinely a nice guy.
Oh my goodness. He could talk to Leonardo DiCaprio the same way he could talk to me or you. And I still remember, as I reminded him, as one of the only 2 people, including yourself, 3, into football and comics, back in Shrewsbury, when myself and Paul went off to watch England thrash 1-0, thrash Tottenham in the Champions League final. And it was just me and Paul watching it. And even then, he was grabbing empty. He just watched the football. He was wanting football.
You just said England thrashed Tottenham.
Sorry, it's Liverpool thrashed Tottenham. My mistake.
I knew you meant Liverpool. I knew it's you, Olly. I knew you meant Liverpool.
We were watching a pub in Shrewsbury, and every fucker in there was a Tottenham fan. 90 minutes later, suddenly they weren't Tottenham fans. But even then, Paul was talking the talk and walking the walk. He was taking crisp packets off people, and they were looking at him quite weird. And basically keeping them to recycle them. So, every single moment of his life is thinking about how he can change the planet. It's not just every now and again, it's every moment. And like I said, that's still one of my fondest memories. That and then me and Paul turning up to a pub full of people like Kieran Gillen, Al Ewing and Charlie Adlard absolutely wrecked off my head. I can't even remember what I talked about after that because I just had a big, massive... And of course, I'm 6'4". Paul's quite short, isn't he? So it must have been like Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise walked into a bar and there's a joke in there somewhere.
I've just gone for little and large, personally, but I wouldn't have gone that far. But now that's the thing, isn't it, about saving the earth and all that? Is that sometimes it carries some negativity. Some people, look at certain people who are trying to make a change and say, "Well, why we got to bother if big companies or countries aren't doing anything?" And then you meet someone like Paul, who makes it real for you, and you know what I mean, makes it. No, you can make a difference, even if we just make a small difference. All those small differences together make a huge difference.
There's not a lot of panels over the Saturday and Sunday where the result of that is all the comic books sold out at that person's table. That says it all, doesn't it? That says it all. And what's more interesting is when I was sitting in that panel and Paul said, "How many people have heard of us before?" Only about 4 people. And I was one of those put their hand up. By the end of it, he'd clearly, because of his enthusiasm, because of the way he speaks so passionate about it, he'd converted that room. Yeah. He was like the ecological Jesus, but without the beard.
And real. He was real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Let's not go down that.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose our other viewer tonight.
Not what you do and set anybody.
So, I mean, obviously, we've thrown praise quite rightly on people like Paul. I take it you didn't get to see any of the panels then, because I only got to see a few because I wanted to sort of mix business and pleasure. You were there Saturday. You left at the dying embers of Saturday afternoon, I take it?
Well, it was about. I left a little bit early. It was probably about 4ish, as
Right.
my ride was ready to go. So it was time to go. I couldn't stop too long. Obviously, for me, yeah, I've been down the pub. You know what I mean? If I had a chance afterwards, I would have met you.
Yeah, man.
But
Maybe
no,
next year.
Didn't get to any panels because literally it was queue. Again, I'm one of these people that goes convention and then ends up bringing a trolley of comics to get signed. You know what I mean? Well, you know, I found something. You know, there's always something.
Yeah.
By Richard Starking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always somebody by somebody. So like Richard, what usually happens is I get there and I'm like, Steve White's here, Marvel UK colorist. And you know, and everything he's done, and he does such beautiful dinosaur books. Check out Steve White stuff. And then you kind of like, I've got something by Steve White. You know,
excellent.
I'll get him to sign it. You end up with 4 comics for Steve White. Good old Mike.
Yeah. Again, another one sort of more than happy to give out sort of his signature on whatever people have brought along.
You never know what you're going to find in your back shoes.
Yeah, that's true.
Charlie Adlard, Exploits of Spider-Man.
Wow. That's quite a rare signature, I imagine. I can't imagine there's many people with exploits of Spider-Man. Yeah, Joelle Jones, Matthew, was a very nice person. I'd managed to meet her. She was being interviewed by another website, and I sat there in the, just said, "It's okay if we're just sitting quietly," because it was going to be a transcribed interview. Lovely person. Only met her for 5 minutes while she was there. Managed to just throw a couple of comics in front of her. Could you sign these, please, before you go to your table? And yeah, more than happy to do that. Yeah. And that's what you find with the comic folk, don't you? They're just lovely people.
Oh, yeah. We have got some images by Jolly Jones to show when, hopefully, Sam turns up.
Well, if he's able to turn up. If he does. Oh, hello. Oh. As if by magic.
Hey! As if by magic.
Hello.
How are you, Sam? We can hear you. It's a bit tinny, but we can hear you.
Yes. I'm using my work laptop for a change because it's not working before. But all right, guys.
How are you?
Hiya, man. Did you get my images I sent you?
Not on this computer, no.
Don't worry, Sam. Don't worry. We're half an hour in. I mean, if people aren't turned on by our chat, then we don't need pictures, do we? To sort of make it even more dynamic. Here's a picture. The one thing I picked up was I tried to sort of save a bit of money. The one thing I picked up was this excellent sort of commission piece by the wonderful Mike Perkins. He's getting a lot of shout outs today. I got to his table Saturday morning, realised he'd only brought 2 of these with him. So I thought, right, put a down payment on it and picked it up much later on. So that is going in a frame the minute I can get to the framers. So I was very, very pleased with that. As I'd like with you, Chris, I got a few choice comic books signed, more for memories than anything else. So whenever I pick them out, you're instantly transformed back there, like you are with with a piece of music you love. And for me, that comics have got that power of sort of transporting you back to a very specific time. Do you find that, Sam? I know you just jumped in on the conversation, but can you maybe pick up a comic from a certain year of your childhood and you're instantly transformed to that exact point where you were reading it?
Oh yeah, there was a period when I first started buying comics around in the 80s, where I literally can find I can remember where I was when I bought every single comic, mainly Marvels, but not all of them. Like some daily DCs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just takes you back, absolutely, and then yeah.
Yeah, Chris has pulled something out of his magic hat or something like that.
I say, Sam, I can send you the pics via Messenger if that's any use, if you can grab them from there.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah, I'll do it in a sec then.
Very clear picture your end, Sam.
Are you?
That's a Gerald Perel.
I tell you, it's Virgin Media.
There we go.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Gerald Perel print, really nice. And then DK Ruan.
We can pretty much make him out.
Was Thought Bubble then?
You'll have to listen to the first half hour of the show. No, it was absolutely wonderful. Just to summarise, as a mid-lesson plenary, we'll summarise. We thought that both creators and fans were just elated that there was something open again. I think we were doubly elated that it was Thought Bubble that broke everyone's COVID cherry, getting back into Comic Cons. As always, the creators couldn't be more friendly. A lot of creators were doing free signatures, where in the past maybe they'd get you the first 5 for free, and then you'd have to start doing them, paying money out to charity or to the sort of arts companies that were repping them this time round. But couldn't have been lovelier. Everyone following COVID rules, masks and all of that. So you couldn't have felt any safer, considering people are travelling from all around the country and travelling to and back from the States and Europe. So, yeah, wonderful, wonderful. 10 out of 10.
Oh, excellent. Well, of course, me and Chris, we went to Coventry. Meanwhile, that kind of broke a cherry. Although that was a comic convention. That was.
Have we actually talked about Meanwhile yet? Let's talk about that, because we had Simon Myers on the show, and big up to Simon. He was meant to be at Thought Bubble. He caught a wickedly bad flu just the week before, so he wasn't able to come. So I wasn't able to sort of talk to him in person. So let's hear your sort of bullet point report back on Meanwhile.
Well, did you manage to watch our 4-hour live stream of
no, because I was doing my graffiti festival, of course. That's my excuse.
And then the pub.
Did you see the pictures on that?
Yeah.
I saw the technical glitches, if that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
The pub live feed is what it was all about.
Hey,
here he is. Try to wind us up and wind us down.
That pub chat was so much fun. Absolutely.
It was fun. It was really good fun, but yeah. We probably didn't come across that.
Are we going to do something like that next year, Shane, at ICE?
Yes, mate. My plan is to do some streaming stuff from ICE and from other cons, but get it right so that we're not, making all those technical errors.
It was a learning curve, definitely, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, people still enjoyed it, I think. We had a lot of views.
But that's the joy. That's the joy of ICE. That's the joy of ICE, Cass. That's the joy of us, is that you're with us. We take you on a journey with us. You know, who knows what can happen?
As well, we managed to, put together some technology for roving reports with my phone and a headset. Yeah, that was good fun walking around, just like grabbing people.
It was very spontaneous.
We managed to get locked out of a building.
Yeah. So we went to see Al Ewing and Kieran Gillen's chat.
Yeah,
so we left all our stuff in the room, and then then you went off somewhere, and I wandered back to the place to pick my bag up, and then I was like, oh, it's locked. The whole thing was locked. They had to get someone out of a birthday party.
No. Oh my God!
No, she was cleaning her oven. She was cleaning her oven. She was happy to turn up. Yeah.
Yes.
She was very nice.
A lot of stuff, because everyone was heading back because we were only there one day, and someone else needed a cushion. Do you remember that? Someone had an anxiety cushion that they left, and then they needed it that night.
Oh no! Yeah, you're right. Yeah. There was a cushion there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shane, have you got the images to put up on screen?
Did you send them to me as well? Did you?
Yeah, email to Chebo. But Sam, I'll put them on the group chat on Facebook if you want to grab them from there.
I will do.
But no, meanwhile was great. It was nice and relaxed. It was a good venue. A lot of artwork happening.
The drink and chat in the evening was great in Coventry Cathedral. That was amazing.
Oh, the drink and draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking of drink and draws, I'm just going to get a little plug in here before my back makes me leave again. I'm doing a drink and draw in Shrewsbury for anyone in the sort of West Midlands area, or the Shrewsbury or Welsh Borders area. We've got, as it's been mentioned many times in this show already, Mike Perkins is our guest of honour.
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike, yeah, just like being called that, I don't know. But Mike's going to be there doing drawings for us, and it should be a really fun night. It's at St Nicholas in Shrewsbury on the 26th of November, and it's just £5 to get in.
Week on Friday.
Week on Friday.
Week tomorrow, in fact, yeah.
Week tomorrow.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Whether you can drink, well, you can certainly drink, but whether you can draw is a question. But even if you can't draw, it's worth turning up and just enjoying and
you don't need to be able to draw.
If only us three knew someone who could put us up in Shrewsbury for the night.
Well,
if only
I could put one of you up.
Yeah,
in Shane's house.
One of you.
We might be
Sam knows
piled
how
on one.
small my house. Yeah, it's a small house. I could put one of you up. So
Just
if
bring a
somebody
tent.
wants to come over,
Bring a tent, Ollie. Bring the tent.
Yeah,
but
10.
you, Ollie, it would be like you'd be like a hot dog. Stick your head,
You're too tall for the sofa. Yeah,
I've slept on worse things. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But no, it does look like a very good event, I must admit.
Yeah, it will be really good.
It's great. I enjoy it. It's good.
There will be other professional artists there. I just haven't.
Really?
It'll just be a surprise. Who else turns up? That's all.
Well, seeing as your town is so full of them, let the
there
guests
you go. So it's well worth the trip out. So if anyone if either of you guys want to come, then you are welcome to stay. But I can only fit one person. Oh, actually, I probably could do two. I have actually got a spare room. I'm in the spare room now.
Oh.
Problem is that the bed is covered in shit. Well, not actual shit.
You've got a week to sort it out.
Yeah. Shane has got a. I believe
Shane's got a double. It's a heavy night, was it, Shane? It's a heavy night.
Shane's got a double bed, so we can roll the dice for who.
Well,
if
someone wants to, join me, But I don't want you to.
We know how much he snores.
Oh yeah.
So it's possible we could possibly get all three of you. That would be tight, though. But if anyone wants to come, you're quite welcome. But yeah, you're busy, Sam. So that's cool.
I don't think this is for the live show. Not live show business. This.
Shane, make sure you take plenty of photos so we can share them on the Icecast the week after.
Yes, we will do, mate. I'll do a review.
Down to the drawings.
Yeah, we'll get the drawings. I've got a comment here. From Matthew again. Shane, without embarrassing you, Dead by Dawn was great. Really well edited. Great lineup. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not embarrassed.
Matthew.
Really appreciate that. Thank you. Credit must go to everybody who worked on Dead by Dawn. All of the creators. My partner in it, Andy Richmond, who made it look absolutely beautiful with his design work and did most of the lettering and a big chunk of the coloring as well. He worked really, really hard on that. So I just want to make sure people know that, because a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, well done," and it's a real team effort. And Andy did a hell of a lot of the work. So thank you for that.
Have you read it, Ollie?
Unfortunately, because I was busy and because of the size of it, there's a couple of Brit comics I want to put aside to give them a proper read before I review them. But Shane knows a review's coming. And the thing is, I've promised myself that I'm going to review Paul Goodenough's 300-page too.
Oh, wow.
Because this weekend is the first, I think last weekend was Thought Bubble. I think the weekend before that I was busy. And then the weekend before that I was rushing around meeting Shane and Charlie at the comic shop and then doing this, that and the other. So this weekend, hopefully, is the first time I actually sit back, take a breather, and maybe start reading, the things that I need to review. But I know with things like Dead by Dawn, a later review can only help it, I think. And the same with, by the time I do Paul Goodenough's 300-page Tomb, I dare say I'll be one of the few people who've actually reviewed it, because it's 300 pages long.
Yeah, it takes a while to get through it, I would imagine.
I'm going to do a video review of Dead by Dawn as well once I get my physical copy.
Oh, you've not picked it up yet?
He didn't fill in the survey. He didn't fill in the survey, did he?
He went into my spam filter and
so he was the last one. He's going to be the last one to get one, aren't you, Sam?
I've read the digital copy, and I am particularly I do like the Dan Abnett and David Hitchcock one.
Oh yeah, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, that's great.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
I mean, it's genuinely. I mean, I know I'm completely biased, obviously, because I published the damn thing. But when I look at it, I can't believe it's a book that I published. It's so good. It's
Are you
brilliant.
the Stanley of Shrewsbury now, then, Shane?
I don't know. I don't have as
more
much
like
luck
the
with
Dan
women.
Video of Shrewsbury.
Yeah. I'll look more like Dan. Yeah, definitely. I think you're onto something there, mate. But I'm very proud of it. So all reviews are welcome. But going back to what you were talking about Paul before as well, and Rewrite and Extinction. When we do Ice in September, we will be doing a lot with those guys. Basically, all of the profits from Ice are going to go to Rewrite and Extinction.
Wow!
Yeah,
that's pretty. Is that an exclusive, Shane?
It is actually, because I don't think I've
That
mentioned
is,
that. Yeah. So
You've been giving
book,
us exclusive guests.
Next.
and we're going to have obviously some of the guests as well who are in the book are going to be at Ice.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't know about that. So we can't announce which ones yet.
Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc Picard.
We can get Chris Packham. Surely we can get Chris Packham.
So there's going to be lots of news coming out about how we're working with Rewriting Extinction, because we're going to be totally devoted to supporting it, because it is a really important comic, and what the work that Paul's doing is really important. And there's going to be a panel at Ice. We're going to have obviously tables for them, and you're going to be able to meet some of the creators. So it's going to be a good show if you're interested in conservation.
And what's the date, Shane, for next year?
It's the 10th of September.
10th, remember the 10th of September.
Indeed.
The most important comic.
Another sort of exclusive, because I have put a post out today. The first guest announcement for Ice next year.
Drum roll.
Mr. Whoa, my camera's gone.
It changed just.
Oh no.
Dear.
It's lucky you were wearing your underpants, Shane, on this call.
It's not little Shane, that's not the guest, is it?
No. So yes, anyway.
Little Elvis.
The guest is Mr. Glenn Fabry. So
he's a great guest.
Yes,
he is a great guest. He was with us in 2017.
Will he remember it though?
Probably not, But Glenn's going to be there. I'm really looking forward to it. He's always a really, really good guest.
Yeah.
No, he's a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he is. He's lovely. Oh, another comment about Dead by Dawn. Oh, thank you, Andy. Dead by Dawn is great. I hope there's a follow-up. Do I haven't paid any of these people to say this.
Dead by morning. Dead by afternoon?
Dead by afternoon, yeah. No, there will. It's looking pretty definite that there will be an issue 2. Hey, another exclusive.
There you go. We're rolling with all these exclusives.
Oh, it's exclusive.
You wait for one exclusive to come along and 3 turn up all at once.
Indeed,
if it's a follow-up with a convention with me and Olly, it's probably going to be Feeling Dead in the Morning.
Yeah.
Feeling rough in the morning.
Hungover by dawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Con Chronicle.
I've got something to promote as well.
Come on then, Sam.
Are you, Sam?
Plug in.
Yeah, no. Do any of you guys listen to the Mega City book podcast? Mega City podcast.
You know that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I was on it last. The latest one features me.
Yes.
Talking about Born Again, Daredevil.
I did listen, Sam.
Because I saw you post it, mate. So I listened to it. Yes.
I was interested in that because obviously I'm a massive fan of Born Again, and we talked about it
when I visited you, Shane. That you showed me the Born Again artist edition, and I was like, oh, that's good. And then when I spoke to Eamon and he said, what 2000 AD book do you want to do? I was like, well, I suppose we could do Strontium Dog Rage. And then I think about it. I went, no, can we do something I can actually talk about? And it was Born Again, and I spent a good time chatting with him.
I love that film with all those lions. Oh no, that's Born Free.
No, it's a great book, Born Again. It's like
Free as the wind blows.
It's absolutely awesome. So yeah, it's good little. That was a good little.
So
chat,
check it out. Check out the Mega City podcast, Mega City book.
Oh, what you got there, Chris?
Oh,
This
Chris
is from
got one of the
football, isn't
cans.
it?
£8.50, 2 dear for me.
Did you pick one up, Olly?
Not for £8.50, I didn't.
Alcohol.
Wasn't that
How much it is?
£5.80?
Was it?
Yeah.
For a
That's
can.
full for a can, though, isn't it? Yeah, exactly, for a can. Have you opened it, Chris?
Jock.
Nice. Very nice.
Jane, if you look at the images, I've sent you an image of said drink.
I don't know.
You want to get some?
They did sell out very quickly, I must admit. There's a lot of people who couldn't get hold of them, and I know that Jock himself had brought 2 crates with him. And there was a table. Did you get it from the table that was selling them then, Chris?
Yes, I did. Yeah, sold out very quickly. Sold out on Saturday. Yeah.
What do you do with the can? Because I made this suggestion because it's all the rage nowadays at a lot of markets where they get a can of like Beavertown or any expensive alcoholic beverage like that one. Obviously cut the top out, fill it with soil, and put a little cactus out of it. That way, you've got a handy little vase for life. And with the cactus in it, I think it fits the character of Dread to a T.
I'll be getting Jock to sign it, and then who knows?
Share my screen.
Oh, can I share yours? Can I? Because I can't work out how to do it. Hold on a minute.
I think.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me run you through. Here we've got some sketches from, well, thanks to Icecast friend Neil Patel and Scott Jarrett, the effervescent Scott Jarrett. We've got some pictures here, some sketches that they got from Thought Bubble. This is a Danny Batman.
Danny. Yes.
Yeah.
Black Bess. Black Bess and now Batman, I think.
She's doing Arkham City with Dan Waters, and it's amazing. She's got that kind of Frank Miller Sin City vibe going on.
Now this one.
Thanks for joining us, Shane.
Again from Neil. Gorgeous. That's a George Fawnes Batman.
I love his work.
I his name correctly.
Yeah, I love his work. I've been trying to get him for ice, but I can't pin him down.
I saw him working on that, and it was mind-blowing.
Wow.
Lee Weeks-ish.
But, yeah, definitely.
Matt Kelly as well.
Yeah.
A bit of that going on. It's good
but
stuff.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. This is one of the Jolie Jones.
Sketches
she was doing. It's a quick sketch.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously Catwoman.
Very distinctive style, though. You can tell it's.
Oh, wow. What's that?
Whoa.
Neil? Is that Neil?
Again, this is one of Neil. Well done, Shane. Yeah. Well picked up on. Neil McClements. Yeah, Neil McClements Batman.
Neil's doing a lot of Batmans over the weekend, it seems.
But that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Well,
again, that's just a different shot. That one is.
That's got to be Neil Patel's, hasn't it? Because he loves his Hulk.
It's Neil Patel's because he loves the Hulk. Bless him.
That's a beauty.
But I think you pronounce his name DK Ruin. DK Ruin, the guy that's doing Shang-Chi at the moment.
Right.
That's great. That is great.
That's one of the prints I picked up. DK Ruin's artwork I really like. That's a Spidey by Clint Bint. I think you say his name. Clark Bint, sorry.
Oh, Clark Bint. That's the guy from Killtopia. He's the artist on Killtopia. He's been on the show before, actually. Clark.
Cool.
Yeah. Nice little Spidey. First appearance Spidey.
Very Ditko-esque.
Oh, that was it.
The picture of Sam's.
There's some more there somewhere.
I think there was more stuff, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Scott stuff's in there somewhere.
Let's go to the other view.
That looks like a nice little Department of Truth one.
There we go. There you go.
Comment. Oh, thank you, Andy. Brilliant stuff, Shane. Hope to be at ICE in September. Bring it on.
Yeah, see you there, Andy.
We've got more if you want to see them, Shane.
So we've got some more. Yeah, let's bring it on. Just have to go to the other screen.
Get rid of the thanks for joining message.
Okay. Yes, all right. Who's in charge?
That was a print I showed earlier.
Oh, yeah, much better. Oh, that does it justice, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful. Good. That's Gerald Perel. Yeah, there were some really nice prints on sale. That is the DK Ruan Batman.
That's nice.
They had some ones for £40, which is a bit much, but the paper quality was nice. There was a bit of a bugger buying because you couldn't buy from the artist; you had to buy from the organisers. But that money, I'm told, was going to charity. So
the organisers, as in the Thought Bubble organisers, or
Kirby.
Oh,
Kirby
Annabelle.
Arts,
Annabelle Kirby.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the agent. She works as an agent, doesn't she? For some of those guys. Yeah.
That's the Jock. It's from Northern Monk.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
Northern Monk.
Is it? What type of beer is it? Is it an IPA?
Yeah.
I think it's an IPA. Let me just have a look.
It wants to be a nice one.
It is. It's quite strong as well. I think it's about 7%, isn't it, or 6%? Knocking on.
Ooh.
I'll just look at the can.
Into syrupy mode, that is.
I'm trying to see. I can't see anything. 33.01 IPA.
That's
7.4. 7.4.
Yeah, that's pretty strong, isn't it? For an IPA.
Yeah.
You're going to taste that going down.
Fair, if you get drunk on that, then you're spending a lot of money. How many cans?
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't take you that much to get drunk, actually, though. Would it?
Yourself,
okay, so this is one of the ones from. This is one of Scott Jarrett's, and this is from
this
Martin.
Is by Martin, isn't it? Yeah. That's a beauty, isn't it? I saw him doing a couple of those, and
the
that minimalistic design it doesn't. What you can't see are the sort of textures on it, because obviously he's gone from being a digital artist to go back to sort of textures, and my goodness me, he's taken that extra leap in artwork. And I saw a few of those. Leonard had a great one done on his Department of Truth blank cover. We'll have to try and get him to show us that.
It's just a little extra, isn't it? It's nice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely. He's a good artist, Martin. He's a good artist. You know what I mean?
Again, that's a Jolly Jones.
Yeah,
I really like those. They're really nice little doodles, aren't they?
You can again with Jolly Jones. It's very much her, isn't it? You can see just from the few lines. You know what I mean? It's definitely her.
Yeah. Really confident line, really nice.
While I was talking to Jolly Jones at the con, happened to be talking about Tom King's run.
You know, the runs,
the wedding. Well, and it's his lack of run towards the end.
My favourite Batmans, absolutely.
But
Tom King,
James Rich happened to be there, who was the editor. So I was talking to Jolly Jones, and she went, "Oh, well, the editor is here," and so I ended up getting Jamie Rich to sign the issues as well, which was an added bonus. The editor happened to be there as well.
He'd been to see Suede a couple of nights before. So he'd been in Britain. Yeah. He'd sort of like come over for Suede and Thought Bubble. And of course, he's working for Tapas Digital now, isn't he? Digital,
of course,
publisher.
Ollie's got the inside track.
I do love that Tom King run. There was one episode where John Constantine was in it, and it was sort of like a dream kind of thing. And John Constantine said something, and I tweeted Tom King and said, "Good issue, mate, but no British person would ever say that." He went to me and said, "Well, if you read the comic, it actually shows that it's John Constantine as dreamt by Batman, who is an American." So
that's a cop out. That is.
Yeah.
Back in your box, Sam. Back in your box.
It's a good cop out. Fair play.
But you know what, Sam? Picking up on your point, I love Tom King's run, and I think Tom King gets a lot of disservice for his run because obviously James came in to do a few issues. He then blew the bloody doors off with his run. And I just think people have forgotten about Tom King's run, and people forget that actually he relaunched the comic after Scott Snyder, and it is a great run. It really is a great run.
It's a tough act to follow.
There's a couple of lulls, I think, and it didn't help. Yeah, it didn't help having a Flash crossover, and then the
button issues.
And also the 50, the Batman Catwoman wedding that never happened.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was editorial.
Brilliant. I thought it was lovely.
I think if you're going to get into the differences, is Tom King, like Hickman, in a way, is a long-term storyteller. So you're not getting pow, pow, pow every issue. You've got, he's got a plan. It's a long-term plan. I'm really enjoying his Human Target. Some people
lovely art.
Some people weren't so keen on Miracle Man towards the end. Was there a payoff? Wasn't there a payoff?
No,
Mr. Miracle, sorry, Mr. Miracle.
Mr. Miracle,
But,
it's amazing.
Now I really like his writing. Vision was great.
Yeah.
I think
I'm struggling a bit with Catwoman, Batman, Catwoman, but I have faith in his writing that it will come together.
Yeah,
I find I like his stuff when he's with a good artist, because I think there's no disrespect to the guy, but I don't actually think he's the best visual storyteller in the world, Tom King. But when he's with an artist who is, they take his ideas and his plots and his the stories he tells are really cool. But when you get an artist who actually knows how to tell a story really well, when you get someone like Lee Weeks, for example, with Tom King, it's just like a dream. An absolute. Yeah. Those Lee Weeks issues of Batman, they were just some of the best Batman.
No, the Constantine thing was like a dream, not Lee Weeks.
I tell you, also was amazing. Was his Rorschach run. That was just absolutely.
I've enjoyed that. Yeah. But I think with Tom King, I think for me is the fact that if it's standalone stories, or like with his Batman run was great as well, but he's very good at the standalone story, like the Vision, stuff like that. I enjoyed Heroes in Crisis, but how that worked within the universe, in other words, he poo-pooed on Wally, and you kind of look, well, we read comic books for that release of reality.
He has said the problem with Heroes in Crisis is he tried to basically people couldn't accept Wally West doing something like that. So
I think he brings a realistic point to comics. Like, in other words, superheroes would need PTSD help.
Yeah, that's that part of it was
which is true. You go, okay, then that works.
Well, they're having a crisis every other week, aren't they?
Well, exactly. You know what I mean?
In real life, you just wouldn't get through that, would you, without some sort of damage to your mental health?
Well, that's the thing with comic books, superhero comic books. It's the difference between real life and the comic book universe that we accept. You know what I mean? We put our pre-whatever's at the door when we read a superhero comic book, because they're not real people. And so when you tell a story about real
suspension of disbelief.
Totally. Thank you. That was the term I was looking for.
Yeah, you go into the cinema. It's funny. I sort of was teaching a class the other day, and they picked up on why is this animal talking? I said, well, wolves talking Little Red Riding Hood. I forget what the context was, but it's amazing. You have to, and like you say, the world of comics up until quite recently, and again, we can thank or blame Alan Moore for trying to infuse the world of realism in. But ever since then, people do try and add realism in. But then when it doesn't work, they just bring Wally West back again.
It can be a difficult line to run, I feel. That real life, Bendis has tried it, you know what I mean? Real life situations in comic books. Yeah. When Warren Ellis has done a good job of it, Tom King has done a good job of it, like in Vision. But Heroes in Crisis, I really did enjoy it. It was very good. But then, thankfully, in recent issues of the Flash, they put Wally back as Wally.
He is my Flash. My first
exactly.
He's my favourite Flash.
Who the hell is this Barry Allen guy? I don't care.
I think that for Marvel fans, DC's second generation were their Marvel DC equivalent. So, like, Kyle Rayner is very much a Marvel kind of DC version. You know what I mean? Wally has that. You know what I mean? He's a real guy.
They brought in more of the soap opera stuff, didn't they?
Yeah.
DC,
rather than being
Marvel,
iconic gods, yeah.
And that's why, and Wally was really relatable. I mean, for me, it was Mark Waid that made Wally such a great character. You know, his run on Flash and his Impulse run, and he basically ruled the Flash universe for a while, didn't he, Mark?
Oh no, definitely.
And he did a fantastic job with all of those characters. I mean, who'd have thought that Max Mercury would become a cool character? You know, but God, he was great. He was like the old mentor, and he brought them all in, and it was a great run. I don't think that run that Mark Waid did will ever be surpassed on Flash, to be honest. I know a lot of people will strike me down for that one, but
Grant Morrison had a good run. During that time. One of my favourite moments in comics, not being a massive DC fan, was Infinite Crisis. Where they're pushing Superboy Prime through the Speed Force, and it's just Impulse at the end because Jay drops off, Barry drops off, and it's Impulse, and he's like, and Superboy Prime's telling him, "You're nothing. You can't take me on. You're on your own. You're crap. You're nothing." And then Barry just appears, grabs him, and goes, "You're never alone, son," and pulls him in. Oh my God, that was mind blowing.
Yeah, and he said it in a Brummie accent as well, just like.
Don't worry about it.
I love it when you review comics, Chris. It's just.
I know you do, Shane.
I've always wanted to do just a show of you reviewing comics because you do it so well. Because you all the characters speak in your accent. It's fantastic. I'll never forget one time we were talking about, I think it was about Transformers comics, and you were talking about Megatron, and it was so funny because you were like, a Megatron. He said, "Hey, get in here, you twat!" And it's like, I don't remember Megatron saying that ever. But it's the best type of comic review. Really,
I like this. I like this, Kang. All right, guys, I gotta go.
See you, Sam. I think we're winding down anyway because I'm surprised. I'm surprised Shane still managed to last this long. To be honest.
If I go, the pictures will go.
All right, who's that picture?
Okay, we'll quickly run through them. This is Kang.
He's gone.
Kang by, I'll find it.
That's
Dean
gone
Beatty.
now. Right, that's gone now. But that was Kang. That was a great one. That one.
It was
I
a
like
very
that.
interesting Kang. Yeah.
And did Dean Beatty have that paper already prepared? Because it looks like a pre-printed frame.
Yeah, it might have been.
That's amazing, isn't it? That's a touch of class. That is by the artist.
You're all missing out on a fantastic death by Mike Perkins.
Oh, we'll have to look.
Sorry.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
What we'll do,
too long.
Chris, post it onto the ICE page after the show.
Please do, yeah.
And then,
we've had the
anyone
okay.
who's watching this, anyone who's watching this, you go onto the ICE page on the Facebook page, and Chris will post the picture by Mike Collins. Not
the ICE page.
Mike
not
Perkins.
Ice not Ice Cube.
Fantastic. Right, we have gone over the hour. And
man. Welcome back anyway, Shane.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you. It's nice.
We'll have to look at those viewing figures once we're off. See if you not being on it's made a difference.
I'm going to get fired.
And those Brummie comic book reviews.
I want them back. I
think we have to have a regular slot now with Brummie books, something like that, Chris.
He's going to tell us about Brummie in a minute, isn't he? I'm not a Brummie.
The one thing I'm not. Darlow boy, big and strong.
Fucking yeah, I ain't no Brummie.
I'm from Darlow,
Right, Black Country, Black Books. There we go. We've got a title for it.
Yeah.
No, but I think Sam, Shane, Ollie, we're all the same. And this is so, I'll get Shane said, "Oh, you review comics." But that's how comics are meant to, good comics are meant to make us feel. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about comics, you are meant to feel guttural. There's something about them.
Yeah.
Spider-Man versus Juggernaut.
They go through
Spider-Man versus Juggernaut. You know what I mean? It's meant to bring something out of you. You know what I mean? You're meant to, you remember them, and you remember them in a certain way. You know what I mean? And that's what comics are meant to do. We are meant, we do feel that way about comics. So when I talk about comics, I'll talk with enthusiasm.
It's brilliant.
At least for the ones that I like, anyway.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Right then, guys, I'm going to skedaddle.
Excellent talking to everybody. We started off with Thought Bubble, went round the houses, came back to Thought Bubble again, and put the world to rights in between all of that, and 3 exclusives.
Yeah, we didn't do too badly, did we?
We didn't do too bad.
That
was a
Thought Bubble.
1 hour, 10 minutes.
Double, thank you. Great convention.
Yeah. Hats off again to Chloe Green and the team. See you next year at Thought Bubble. And see you next week online, lads.
See you guys.
And we